Hi ladies and gentlemen, Muridnur here. The video that I'm going to be doing, or better said, the topic that I'm going to be covering in this video is going to be Thelema. First off, I'm just going to cover everything for beginners or people that don't know what Thelema is, as well as people that are at least knowledgeable on the basic foundations and definitions of Thelema. Thelema is simply a magical system, okay, or a spiritual ideology, or an occult-based spiritual ideology, that simply put means, whose purpose or its purpose is, or the purpose of its members, or its goal, mission, and vision is simply to seek out one's true will, okay, and the members or the followers of this ideology, Thelema, they do that, or they're instructed to do so by the founder of Thelema. I think that was Aleister Crowley. Please bear with me, I'm not sure of that. I think Aleister Crowley, the occultist, was the one who founded Thelema, but regardless of who founded it, its purpose is simply to seek out one's true will, and via some kind of self-purgation system, by purging oneself spiritually. And that's what its followers and the people that follow this ideology, and they call themselves Thelemites, that's what they seek to achieve, okay? So simply put, Thelema is simply the notion that your environment and all the other factors in the world, external factors, have made you who you are, or have influenced you to the point where you are who you are, and the purpose of reaching a Thelemic state is to undo yourself from everything that made you who you are. So literally destroy yourself, to put it that way, to destroy your character traits, to undo yourself from all the character traits and everything that makes you who you are. Because according to them, everything that makes you who you are is influenced by the world around you. And once you undo yourself or subdue yourself from all of that, then you can simply follow your true will, as they put it. That is basically what Thelema is. So basically they want to turn themselves, okay, a Thelemite seeks or strives to turn himself or herself into an empty husk, an empty spiritual husk, to the point where you're completely empty and void of any character traits and anything. At that moment you can pursue your true will. So basically any path that you choose, okay, from that point out, okay, anything that you become after reaching that point, that turning point, is your true will, and then you will have successfully completed the Thelemic ideology, to put it that way. Again, this is obvious. I'm just going to tell you right away, okay, what my opinion on all of this is, and so on. This is pure nonsense. I'm not going to lie to you. This is just pure nonsense, okay? I never liked Thelema, but the definition of it, it's just stupid, okay? Others might disagree. You're well within your rights. Anybody that's well within his rights, anybody that's watching this is well within his or her rights to disagree with me, of course. You have the freedom to express yourself. Same thing that I'm doing right now. But my opinion is simply that it's pure nonsense based on my knowledge and experience. The thing is simply that, I'm sorry. The thing is simply that, it's simply the case that your character traits and all the otherworldly things that have influenced you and made you who you are is the way that things are supposed to be. This is who you were meant to be, okay? I'm not saying that you don't have the right to change yourself, but there is no such thing as true will and free will. I already have an article called Free Will. I already have an article called Free Will on my website. You can read that, and a video called Does Free Will Exist? Yeah, in which I explain anything. But again, long story short, in that I indicate that everything around you, okay, has made you who you are. Your entire path, okay, of the life cycle that you live in, assuming that you'll only have one life cycle, assuming that you'll have multiple, has been laid out before God, has been laid out by God Himself, okay? Just like any other thing. That's why God is Almighty. And there is simply no free will based on the fact that you don't get to choose who you are and what you are. Thelema is basically proof of that. Otherwise, the notion of Thelema as an ideology as a whole would not exist. But again, just keep that in mind, okay? Thelema as a whole would not exist, okay, if people actually thought that free will existed. Most people that believe in free will are people that are way too ignorant, and people that simply have no knowledge on the subject matter to actually carry on a meaningful conversation. Free will does not exist, okay? I didn't choose to be who I am. I didn't choose to be a magician. I didn't choose to have the name Morino Ravenberg. I didn't choose to look the way I look. I love the way I look, how handsome I am, but I didn't choose it. I didn't choose to be born in this worthless hole that's supposed to pass for a country. I didn't choose anything, not my character traits, nothing. Okay, everything was just thrown into my face basically at birth, and here I am, you know. And this is the case for every single person in the world out there, more or less. And yeah, and again, if Thelema proves this, otherwise Thelema wouldn't even exist, okay? Because that's what Thelema strives towards. Thelema's focus is to basically attain self-attainment of free will, of true free will, because your existing factors have made you who you are, because you have no free will according to them. Okay, the factors in your life have made you who you are, and so on. So basically, by subduing yourself from all of that, you have free will and you're free to choose your own life's path. But that's nonsense, okay? That's non-existent. That doesn't exist, period. There is no such thing as free will, regardless of how much you want it to be, okay? When I say free will, I'm not talking about everyday mundane choices. You're free to choose what you want to have for dinner, what movie you want to watch, if you want to watch a movie, if you want to commit suicide, or whatever the hell you want to do, if you want to jump off a bridge. That's not free will, okay? And besides, even those decisions are already predetermined, okay? If you commit suicide, if you kill yourself, then it was already predetermined that you would kill yourself at such a stage or at such a point in your life. Again, this is simply the example that I want to put before you guys, okay? I've had discussions with a few people in the past that actually are ignorant enough to the point where they think that they have free will. And I was like, wow, you're seriously not aware of this. You didn't choose to be who you are, nothing, not even your name, nothing. And yet you believe that you have free will? No. It might sound harsh, okay, it is harsh, but hey, to be that subjective to a higher deity or to a higher entity, but yeah. Truth of the matter is, the fact of the matter and the truth of the matter is that we're nothing more than, we're like pawns in a chess game, and God is the one playing chess with us. Doesn't matter whether you like it or not. Doesn't matter. God doesn't need your love or approval. The world doesn't work that way. In any case, that is it regarding that aspect of Thelema. And Thelemites, okay, that's what the Thelemites basically think, and that's what they strive for or towards. That's their mission and vision. That's their goal, their purpose within their Thelemic orders or within their belief system. But again, that's why I think it's nonsense, simply based on the fact that there is no free will. So they're basically deluding themselves, from my perspective, by actually striving towards free will, because there is no such thing as free will. Even if you're a successful Thelemite and you undo yourself from everything, your character traits and all of that, okay, you can't undo yourself from your physical body, to put it that way. No matter how many plastic surgeons you see or anything like that, okay, you will have to come to terms with reality and admit to yourself that you're subject to a numerous amount of things that lie well beyond or well past your control. Things that you can do nothing about, things that you just have to take at face value, things that you just have to accept and deal with it, or things that you just have to accept and deal with. But what Thelemites are doing, even if a successful Thelemite undid himself, I've never heard of a successful one, not that I care, but even if you as a successful Thelemite undo yourself from all your character traits and all of that, to the point where you're an empty husk, okay, you're just like a blank slate. Anything that you choose to pursue after that is still not free will, okay? Because what do you think is going to happen? The decisions that you make, the mundane decisions that you make, and the world itself will start influencing you again. It's like a repetitive cycle. Even if you may turn yourself into a blank slate, you had a bunch of character traits, you were stubborn, you were gifted psychically, you were sympathetic, you were coercive, and it just goes on, okay? If you undid yourself from all of that, over time, you'd still attain other character traits without you wanting to attain them, okay? Because these character traits would simply have been brought on by a habit, doing things repetitively, and or your environment. It doesn't matter where you wanted to live in, unless you wanted to live like a caveman. But even if you were to live like a caveman, you'd still attain certain character traits that without you wanting to attain those traits. So again, it's honestly it's useless, completely and utterly useless to chase after such a goal, because again, it's not something that you can attain. Thelema seeks to attain free will based on what I know of Thelema, and I'm not calling myself an expert here. Like I just said, I'm giving my opinion on the matter. And again, something that can be attained. Thelema simply seeks to attain the unattainable and can be attained. End of story. That is that. And yeah, that's basically what Thelema is like and what Thelemites do, more or less, okay? But the difference is that Thelemites, followers of Thelema, seek to achieve what I just mentioned, okay? Attainment of free will via self-purgation or self-cleansing or destroying oneself astrally. They seek to attain all of that within most of them and within occult means, via rituals and all of that. Again, and I'm not going to lie to you. Oh yeah, and now I remember. There was one last thing I was going to mention. This entire thing, the entire goal, mission, and vision of Thelema, honestly is kind of not intimidating, but I'm not saying or fearful, but it can be to some, because honestly, based on everything like I just explained, there are some serious mental health issues there, okay? There are some serious mental health issues there. I mean, you're seriously I don't know, you're going to damage yourself severely. Magic in general, okay, already takes such a toll on me mentally, an incredible toll on me. Me raging and being neurotic sometimes. But something like that, destroying yourself that way astrally, okay, it seems incredibly risky, okay? Honestly, you could easily become psychotic, or you could just go straight up insane, have a mental breakdown. Stuff like that is dangerous, okay? Doing something like this is dangerous, okay? You have no legitimate reason to do so even, but again, Aleister Crowley, I think, founded Thelema, or he was a prominent Thelemite, and any normal, or not normal, but any mundane person would think that Aleister Crowley was insane, based on, I don't know too much of his personal life, but from what I've heard, he was at a certain point in time he was homosexual, and then he did this, and then he did that. He did a bunch of things that a stereotypical insane person within society, or by society's standards, would do. You know, he did a bunch of things where you would say, this guy has lost his mind. This guy is completely, this guy's lost his mind completely. He's gone off the deep end. And yeah, there is a realistic danger in doing what Thelemites do. Destroying yourself like that is just straight up dangerous. I'm not kidding. Okay, magic already brings a certain amount of risk with itself, astrally, which is normal. The same way that driving a car brings about the risk of a car crash or a collision in which you could be brutally killed or maimed. But the risk is way too high. You could easily go insane, and you'd be completely detached from society. Not that you need to belong to society, but you'd be completely detached in an unnatural way. It's just too, it's too risky, honestly, for my part. The entire ideology is impractical, to say the least, based on my knowledge and experience and my opinion, of course. But that is it in any case.
Hey, fuck you today. Fuck you, big boy.